Hello everyone, I am Samuel from the Craftable PRO team, and we will continue with our Laravel project, the backend for a training app. We have successfully installed the Laravel project, Craftable PRO, and have understood the basics of Craftable PRO. Now we are ready to continue and start building the actual backend.
The first step is to prepare the structure of our database. Let's review the structure of our app. We will have trainings that will include various exercises and users who can join individual trainings. The app will be multilingual, which means we need to store different language versions of each training and exercise. Therefore, the basic structure could look like this. Table trainings with columns title and text, both of type JSONB. Table exercises with columns title, text, duration, and training ID. Title and text are of type JSONB, duration is of type integer, stored in seconds, and training ID is also of type integer. Training ID refers to the training that contains that exercise. An important side note is that if you use one of the names text, content, or body for your column, Craftable PRO will automatically generate a WYSIWYG component. Now you may ask, why are the titles and text of type JSONB? That's because Craftable PRO has an out-of-the-box localization feature that stores translatable columns as JSON, where all individual translations are saved in a JSON structure. You can then edit each language version directly in the admin panel. On top of that, Craftable PRO can automatically load the correct language on your frontend, depending on the language currently selected. Isn't that convenient? As for users, Laravel comes with a predefined users table that will suffice for our use case. It contains columns for name, email, email verified at, password, remember token, and timestamps. And as you probably noticed, we also need a table for the relationship between users and registered trainings. This table will be called training user and will serve as a pivot table, containing the connection between trainings and users. I will give you a sneak peek into what we are going to do. As you can see, we will be working mainly with the command to generate CRUD. So now, let's create individual tables as migrations using Artisan. Note that if you are using Sail, you can start the command with Sail Artisan or with the abbreviation Sail Art. For now, I will use Sail Artisan. So let's create the migration file for trainings. Then we also need a migration file for exercises. And finally, we need to create a migration for the pivot table training user. The next step is to edit generated migration files to include the necessary columns for storing the data based on the diagram shown at the beginning of the video. Let's start with the migration file for trainings. Each training session will have a title of type JSONB. As you already know, we use JSONB to make the column translatable. Note that JSONB is currently not supported in MySQL, so if you are using MySQL, you need to use the JSON type instead. We also need a column named text, which will also be translatable. Additionally, naming it text ensures that Craftable PRO will generate a WYSIWYG component for that field. Let's continue with the exercises migration. We again need columns for the title and text. As you can see, GitHub Copilot correctly assumes these columns. We also need a column for duration. We decided to store it in seconds, so an integer type will be absolutely fine. And finally, we need to define a relation to the trainings table. We also add cascade on delete because we don't need exercises without training. The last migration is the pivot table between trainings and users. Here we need only two columns, the relation to trainings and the relation to users. GitHub Copilot once again understands what we need and prefills these lines for us. The final step is to run the migrations. Once the database is ready, we can finally start generating the CRUD with Craftable PRO.
Training as well as exercises should also include images. Luckily, this is a feature that comes out of the box with Craftable PRO. We will showcase this in the next video when we finally begin with admin generation, so see you next time.